There was an article in some years ago in the Charisma magazine that was insightful. As a matter of fact, it was a very revealing article, and it was entitled, "Why Isn't the American Church Growing?" That was the title of the article. And in the article, it talked about while the church was growing, or is growing at a record rate in Africa and Asia, churches are stagnated in the United States. The article says that it's time to face some of the realities about our own spiritual condition. Because Christians from around the world, such as in Russia and Ukraine, India, and Uganda, Holland, Singapore, Nigeria, they made some observations regarding the Church of Jesus Christ in the U.S. One was that mega churches are okay as long as they are involved in making disciples. But many of the mega churches are composed of people who move from one church to another so they can have better programs or better music or celebrity, members who belong to the church, or maybe rich and famous, and so they want to be able to boast and brag that so-and-so belongs to our church. He said faith in the United States has become consumer-oriented. That is to say, what is God going to do for me? As opposed to what can I give? He also said the church must reject the Hollywood tendencies, fashion, jet planes, $65 million jet planes, Bentleys, etc. All of these things are bad examples to churches in foreign lands. And they also observe that there is no commitment to soul winning. And the criticism in the article goes on and on. You can go back and read it. It's a 2005 issue, but if you go to Charisma, you can read some of their archives. Christianity in America is on the decline. We are no longer the epicenter of the Christian faith. And there's an erosion of Christian faith in America while the evils of our times are on the rise. And the church as a whole continues to remain silent on issues that are in direct conflict or contradiction to Christianity. Issues like partial birth abortions and gay marriages and children's rights versus their parents. Children can divorce themselves from their parents. Criminal rights and the removal and aspects of God in public places and government assemblies. We have environmental racism. Toxic waste is dumped in some communities. We see the unsafe water in Flint, Michigan, for example. We got air and land pollution, and we're silent. The deforestation of rainforest around the world, we're silent about it. The pollutions of the oceans by drilling for oil, and sea vessels dump their garbage. And on and on and on. All of these things are happening, undermining the foundation and fabric of this society, as well as destroying the planet and the church. We, Christians, are silent. The things that's happening in our world and in this nation more specifically are indicators of a culture and of a time that is bent on the erasure of God from social order. And anyone who is an advocate of Christian faith or is a supporter of ecological preservation, you're considered a radical and an extremist. And you reside on the fringes of society. But even more than that, the salvation for lost people has been lost to a self-indulging and self-serving Christianity. Believers enter the sanctuary with the expectation that someone or some aspect of the worship will excite or inspire their minds and soul, and then leave believing that they have worship. But ironically, they hardly ever bring others to receive what Christ offers in that worship. Remember, it's a self-indulging and self-serving kind of Christianity. I'm going to get mine. Our need to feel, excel, to prosper, to obtain has fundamentally redefined the purpose and power of the church. The church has become the place where you gather to get. And this is evident in the number of individuals who come forward, across the span of a year or at the close of worship service, and even so far in this first quarter, the people who come forward in their active obedience to the invitation to Christian discipleship, but they never truly experience the transforming power of God in their lives. They unite with the church as if that act is likened to obtaining some kind of spiritual insurance policy. If I join the church, then I got my ticket. I'll have access to heaven if I join the church. However, no real transformation takes place. And just as bad, and sadly to say, those who have even been truly converted lack the aspiration or aptitude and even attitude to win lost people to Christ. They choose not to let their light shine for reasons only they can explain. And then there are others who are more Pharisaic, and they separate themselves from unbelievers, and they fail to be salt of the earth, because in order to be salt of the earth, in order for salt to function, it has to make contact. The only way salt can bring about change and preservation is if there's some contact made. But there's some Christians who are Pharisaic, and so they don't want to be in the company of sinners. They're more holy than Jesus because he hung out with sinners.